Najeeb Muhammad, a young man from Arathupuja in Haripad of the Kerala state, is newly married and dreams of a better work in any of the Arab Gulf states. After several endeavors, he finally gets an opportunity to work in Saudi Arabia. However, at the King Khalid International Airport, Riyadh, he is clueless as what to do next and is taken away by an Arab man who he believes to be his work sponsor. The work sponsor takes him to a cattle farm in the middle of a desert, confirming Najeeb's worst nightmare. The work sponsor hands Najeeb over to the farm supervisor. Najeeb is then used as a shepherd and is assigned to 10 goats, sheep, and camels for almost 3.5 years in the remote deserts of Saudi Arabia. He is forced to do backbreaking work, kept half-hungry, and is denied water to wash and suffers unimaginably. The farm's brutal supervisor keeps Najeeb in control with a gun and binoculars and frequently beats him with a belt. And now, Najeeb had to manage this new fate without the bare human essentials. In a country where he doesn't know the language, places, or people, he is far away from any human interaction. Najeeb steadily starts to identify himself with the goats. He considers himself as one of them. His dreams, desires, avengers, and hopes starts to fade away as his mindset has now become similar to that of the goats. He talks to them, eats with them, sleeps with them, and virtually lives the life of a goat. Although he has tried absconding multiple times, the supervisor catches him every time and punishes him by denying him food and water. He stops absconding when he finds the skeleton of the previous shepherd buried in the sand, who he thought had escaped. Even then, he keeps a ray of hope, which will bring freedom and end to his sufferings someday. Finally, one night, with the help of Ibrahim Kadiri, a Somali worker in the neighboring farm, Najeeb Muhammad and his friend Hakeem escapes from the horrible life to freedom. But the trio fumbles across the desert for days, and young Hakeem dies of thirst and fatigue. But Ibrahim Kadiri and Najeeb keep moving on, and they stumble across an oasis where they manage to take rest for a few days. In the day they had planned to start moving again, Ibrahim disappears, leaving Najeeb alone. Initially devastated, Najeeb somehow manages to find his way to a nearby highway, where after a day of trying, a kind Arab stops for him and rides him to Al-Bathar. Over there, he meets Kunjika, a fellow Malayali who helps refugees. Kunjika nurses him back to health and finally calls back to his hometown. Once Najeeb started feeling better, he gets himself arrested by the civil police in order to get deported to India with Hamid, who he had met while being with Kunjika. In a few weeks, he gets to know that he is being deported to India by the authorities. Feeling ecstatic, he bids his goodbyes to his fellow inmates, and as he boards the plane,